Package 3301 Forest Product Procurement, Group 2, Manluk Piape. In this video, we will share how the volume of the log is measured. First, let me introduce my teammates. This is Jiasheng, this is Emily, this is Pevi, last but not least, of course, this is me.
Okay, now we are going to look into the tools and equipment needed during the log volume measurement process. Firstly, we will need a pencil or pen and paper to jot down. Other tools such as calculator, measuring tape to measure the diameter and length of logs and chalks are also needed. These tools are important as we will have two methods in measuring the volume of logs. The first method is to do the calculation by formula, where the calculator will be used, and another method is by referring to a book. We call it as buku sife. The chalk is used when we determine the average diameter of the logs.
Firstly, we measure the diameter of log at both ends. Each end, we will take two readings to calculate the average. The unit we use for diameter here is inch. Same goes to the other side of the log. The end with the smaller diameter will be chosen. Then, we measure the length of the log. The units of length can either be in feet or in meter. And this is what you get for this log.
2, 1, 0, point, apa ni? 7.
After we get the diameter and length of the log, Pevi helped us to record the readings we get. There is two other situations we encounter when we measure the volume of log. The first situation is when we encounter logs with defects. For this situation, we will need to measure 4 diameter readings for each side of the log. 2 readings of the original diameter, we set it as A, and 2 more readings of defected part of the log, we set it as B. After getting the average, we will use A to deduct B to get the actual diameter of log. As for the length of the log, will be measured as usual. Next, the second situation is when we encounter with logs diameter less than 12 inch. For this situation, the diameter and length of logs will be taken as usual. The only difference is when we're calculating the price for this log, and this will be explained in the video later. The next step is to find the volume of log. The first method we use here is refer to buku civil.
Ini panjang ni. Ini diameter. Diameter tadi.
Now we have to go this one.
66.
Okey, kembali tadi. Kembali yang tengok. Okey, pada tu.
Satu bos sikit.
Okey.
90.
90. Volume. M3. Kayu, spesies. Berarti ramai daun.
So let us have a closer look. Based on what the person in charge mentioned just now, this column here is the length, while this column here will be the diameter. Let's say if the log is 1.9 meter long with the diameter of 20 cm, then the volume of log will be 0.06 m3. The second method here is using formula calculation. So let's have a look. From the first sample, we will get 4 diameter readings from both ends of the log. We will choose the side with smaller readings, which is 16.5 inch and 14 inch. Then, we will need to find the diameter average. We use 16.5 plus 14 inch, divide by 2, and we will get 15.25 inch. Then, we need to change inch into centimeter. 1 inch equals to 2.54 cm. So, we will use 15.25 times 2.54 cm to get 38.74 cm. After round off, we will get a diameter of 39 cm. After that, we use the South Sea log scale or Barrington formula to find the volume of log, which is 0.7854 times diameter square times length, divide by 10,000, sub in the values, and we will get the volume of log, which is 0.81 meter cube. After we calculated the volume, we can proceed to calculate the price of a log. To calculate the price of a log, we need to calculate the tax, which in wood industry, we name it as loyalty and cess.
Berarti ramai daun. Apa dia punya baju orang?
Ni
Cepat sikit.
Yang ni macam tak ada 44.
Okey, so.
Each wood species will have different royalty and cess. This is based on the wood species itself, whether it is a first grade wood or maybe other grades. Higher grades are more expensive compared to the lower grades of wood. Here is how we calculate the royalty of a wood. Based on the list provided, we use our sample as an example. Meranti rambai daun is about 44 ringgit per meter cube. So, we use the volume calculated just now, which is 0.81 meter cube times with 44 ringgit, and we will get 35 ringgit 64 cents for the royalty. As for cess, it is 15 ringgit for Meranti Rambai Daun, so we will use again 0.81 meter cube times with 15 ringgit, then we will get the amount of 12 ringgit. By adding the royalty and cess together, the total price for 0.81 meter cube of Meranti Rambai Daun is 47 ringgit 64 cents. As for log with diameter less than 12 inch, they are categorized as kayu jaras, where their price are not calculated by volume but per log. The royalty for one log that its diameter less than 12 inch is 4 ringgit and cess per log is 1 ringgit. Then, the log is required to mark by using a hammer-like tool as a sign that the log is legal to be transported. In the meantime, the person in charge will also fill in a form as a record and give a copy to the driver, which is also an important transport pass to show that the logs are illegal to be transported. This is the whole process to measure the volume of log. After ensuring all the process is done, the logs are ready to be transported.
We can identify the cost of each logs by using two types of method, which consists of manual calculation and the buku sivil. Buku sivil can assist the government operator to get the value of the logs rapidly. They just need to get the diameter at the cross-sectional surface and the length of logs, then refer and check through the buku sivil within a short time to get the cost of log. On the other hand is manual calculation. Although manual calculation has a high accuracy, but it takes a longer time, which needs calculator, paper and pen to find out the cost. In my point of view, buku sivil is more suitable used in field compared to manual calculations, since the operator won't always tend to carry the calculator all the times and it takes longer times to key in the values. Besides that, they need to save their time and make sure that the works become more easier and convenient as the logs in logyard are actually in a large amount. We proceed to safety consideration during the measurement of log volume. There are some safety precautions that should be observed, as we may easily get injured when we are in a log yard. Therefore, personal protective equipment, which is the proper attire, is important and should be highlighted. We should wear shoes or boots to guard our feet from heavy logs. Then, we should wear a mask to avoid breathing in wood dust and wood debris, because these type of particles are hazardous if we inhale too much into our body. Furthermore, we should wear our heads or helmets to protect our head from falling logs. On that day, we also wear high visibility clothing, which is a red t-shirt that can ensure our visibility at a log yard or construction area to reduce the risk from being struck by other workers. Next, gloves are also important to protect our hands from the rough surface of logs and the potential cuts.
So I also got an experience because on that day, we are finding a species of ramen, and then I touched the surface of the wood and then my hand get allergic.
So wearing a glove is important for this process. So lastly, the most important safety criteria is to have expert or a person to guide us when we are in a log yard. We should also listen to the safety briefings before we enter a log yard. To protect ourselves from danger, we should always take note of these safety considerations and practice when we are in the log yard.
In conclusion, we learned about the first one, the tools and equipment needed. Number 2, the safety features during the measurement. And the third one, we learned how to calculate the volume of the log by using the buku sivil and also formula calculation. And last but not least, we learned about how to calculate the price of the log in the wood industry in Malaysia. Thank you for watching, and we do really hope you guys enjoy for this video. Bye bye.